I'm back. Are you back? Are you ready to start section 6? Hey everyone, Cristin Som here, and oh my goodness, we are back from Christmas vacation. I hope you had a wonderful time. Thank you for that time off, by the way. So I really needed it. I made a bunch of gifts for my grandkids right before my trip to California. I hope you had a wonderful time too, and hopefully you came back not sick, because I came back sick. Oh my goodness, my husband and I both very, very sick, but much better today. So today is our first day getting back to our Jingle All the Way quilt. So we've been working on this quilt with Oh My Darlings as our sponsor, Jingle All the Way by Kimberbell Designs, and we have the first 5 sections completely done in our quilt. Isn't it beautiful? Don't you love it? And with all of our personalizations, it just makes it so fun. So we have those first 5 sections completely done, and then we also have a whole bunch of other blocks done and ready to put into future sections. So there are a total of 13 sections. So really we're less than halfway, but with all these, you know that we're like definitely at least halfway done with this quilt project that we've been working on together. And I'm loving seeing everyone's posts, and everybody's doing a phenomenal job at staying caught up too. I love that. So today we're going to start on section 6. We have the first 5 done. We're going to start on section 6, and it's pretty easy because like all the future sections, we already have lots done with each of these sections. So that's really nice. So today we're going to work on the small flying geese. So if you remember, we did the large flying geese. Now we're going to do the small flying geese. And they're pretty easy. They are a piecing project, so it takes a little bit different mindset. I love personally, I love the pieced projects. Some people, it's not their favorite thing. It's definitely my favorite. So I'm going to walk you through it step by step. It's very doable, very fun. It's really an enjoyable process to me. And really, once you get the flow of how it works, and you don't even need to get the flow because I'm going to walk you through it step by step. But once you get the flow, you'll see. You're just like, oh yeah, now this piece goes here and this piece goes here. It's pretty easy. All right, so flying geese. Grab your packet if you made packets. So my packet for flying geese, it shows that on my book, there's different versions of the book, of the instruction book. So on my book, which is the oldest book, it's on page 12. All right. And there are 2, I've got a little 2 here. We're going to do 2 flying geese. We only need 1 today for section 6, but I'm going to go ahead and work on 2 at the same time. Saves time, saves stabilizer, saves some headache. We'll just do it all at once, all nice and easy. So I will bring you over to the computer in a little bit, and I will show you how to merge the 2 into one. Hooping, it does take some extra work with those flying geese to get them all situated, but again, I walk you through it step by step. It's going to be so easy for you. All right, so flying geese, like I said, in my book, they're on page 12. So find that in your book if you need your book. You may not need it. I'm going to give you all the information anyway. All right, so grab your packet. It's got our fabrics in there. I'm going to grab that, and like I said, I'm going to make both of them. We only need 1 today, but I think it's easier to just get them both done. All right, so we have 2 sets of fabric. So the first one is this white holly leaves fabric, and neither of these have a substitute from our sponsor, so you should have received this if you purchased it long ago in the original set, or if you bought it recently from our sponsor, Oh My Darlings. They probably sent you this holly leaves fabric. All right, and the other one is this red scrolls fabric. All right, and same thing, I don't have a substitute, so you should have received that. Now on the flying geese, I want to point out, I do back mine with fusible stabilizer, right? You can't totally see it on the white ones, but it's there. All right, and on these, So I find it helpful personally, but some people prefer not to use stabilizer on their piecing projects. So it's totally a matter of preference. It does make it a tiny bit harder to hold all the fabrics down. But if you've got one of those clover folding pens, like I've recommended in other videos, those work like a charm, let me tell you. So I'm going to add a link here to my Amazon storefront. If you haven't purchased one of those clover folding pens, I highly recommend it. They're great for all piecing projects, traditional piecing quilt projects. All right, so these are our two fabrics. I think they're all 3x2. It looks like it, huh? 3x2. So let me tell you how many though. So this one, so this is for both projects. So keep in mind, I'm working off of using 2 of the flying geese. So if you're only making one today, it would be half of this. All right, so 12 pieces of the holly leaf fabric, 3x2. 12 pieces, that's for both of them. So 6 for each of them, all right, of the holly leaf fabric, 3x2. 6 if you're only doing one, or 12 if you're doing both. All right, and then the other one, like I said, is that red scroll fabric. And again, this one also is 3x2, nice and simple, 3x2. We want 24 pieces of this one, so 24. So that will mean 12 for the first flying geese and 12 for the other. And like I said, I do back mine with fusible stabilizer. That's totally personal preference. Whatever works for you, whatever makes it the easiest for you is fine. All right, and then the only other thing that we need today is our batting. So our batting, we want one for each of the flying geese. So these are going to be 3x7, 3x7 for your batting today. 2 pieces if you're doing both of them. 2 pieces, 3x7 for your batting. All right, and that's all the product we need. We are going to quilt these, so we're going to do it a little bit different. And like I said, I'm going to bring you over to the computer and show you, because we're going to start by doing the piecing template and then doing all of the pieces. So we'll do that first versus the quilting. So we're going to break it up. We'll do part of the quilting because we want that placement and tack down of our batting, but we don't actually want to run the quilting design until the very end. So you'll see I'm going to move that to the end. So that will be very important. So our quilting today, you can use any quilting design that you want that is 2x6. So look through your bundle of fabrics, or not fabric, of quilting design. So if you bought the Jingle All the Way quilting bundle, the Christmas 6 is the bells. That's the one I'm going to use. Christmas 6. It's got the Christmas bells. That will be really cute. But again, you can use any quilting design that you want that is 2x6. All right. So I'm going to bring you over to the computer and show you how to merge these both into one hooping. Should be very doable. I think that's about it. So I do want to hear about your Christmas. We'll talk more about that at the end of the video, but I do want to hear how your Christmas was. If you had a wonderful break, we did take some time off from Cristin Creates to be able to have time with our family, so I'd love to hear about it. Hey everyone, I'm back at my computer now, and I'm just going to walk you through how to join these 2 flying geese into one hooping. So I'm going to open up Embellishment Essentials. That is the embroidery software that I highly recommend. If you decide to purchase it for your own little Christmas gift, please make sure to use my affiliate link. I'll add a link up here at the top. Click on that and then choose Embellishment Essentials. That's the one that I show you how to use, but there's others like Stitch Artist if you're thinking about doing digitizing, or any of the products that you choose. Looks like I've got something on my monitor there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, and first thing I always like to do once I open up Embellishments is I look down here at the bottom where it shows the hoop size I'm on. I'm on my 6x6 hoop, and I will probably need bigger. So if our quilting design is 2x6 and I want 2 of them, I think I'll go ahead and use my 7x12 hoop. You could do an 8x12 hoop. You could do, if you did like a 6-inch hoop, you would have to take out the parts of the quilting design. So we may not even need parts of those. So I'm going to go ahead and use my 7x12 hoop just to give myself some space. So I'm going to come up here to this preferences folder, click on that, and then choose the hoop size that you want to use today. And say okay, and then come up to this compass button and click H for hoop. All right, I think that this is quite a bit more than we need. I could use my 8x8, doesn't matter. All right, I'm gonna stay with my 7x12. All right, so we're going to start by bringing in the quilting design. Now, don't forget I mentioned that we're going to move around parts of the design though, because we don't want all of the quilting first like we usually do. All right, so I'm going to go up, let's see, you can do it by going here to merge stitch file and navigate to the folder, or if you have the folder handy, you can click on that folder and then go to your quilting designs. Let's see, where's my quilting bundle? Right there, quilting bundle. I'm just going to move this over here. All right, and then Christmas 6 is the one I'm using. That's the bell. So I'm going to click on Christmas 6 in the Jingle All the Way quilting bundle. Block by block is the technique we're using. I use Paz from my computer, and I want a 2x6 quilting design right there. So there's actually not too much to it, which is kind of nice. I was thinking I would like to have a quilting design that isn't too busy. On the Flying Geese, I find it easier to have one that's not super busy because you're going over many layers of fabric. So this is actually a good one for today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this. I'm going to move it over here. Boy, do I have a lot of room, huh? All right, so I'm going to start by, let's see, we're going to start by thinking about which parts we need. So I'm going to go through this. So the 5 steps of the quilting, the first one is the placement stitch for the batting, and we definitely want that. That's like the most important thing that we want right now. So that one, and then 1, 2 is the tack down of the batting. We want that. This is the placement. The third one is the placement of our main fabric. We don't have a main fabric, so we actually don't need this at all. So I'm going to go ahead and 3 and 4, the placement and the tack down, which is the part that makes it bigger, by the way. But these 2 parts we actually don't need. So what I did is I clicked from the right and dragged over, and I'm just going to delete these because we don't need it. We don't have a main fabric because we're going to put all those little pieces down. And then we have the quilting design. So that makes it easy. We don't have to change any colors or anything when we do a color sort. We will need to later, actually, for sure, all of those parts. But for right now, that's what we need, but we need this part later. So I will show you how we're going to do that. I think first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the design. So you want to make sure you have all the parts of it. So you can do it over here, or you can click down from the bottom and drag up. Either way, you want all 3 parts of the quilting. And I'm going to say Control C on my keyboard, like copy, okay, copy it, and then Control V like victory to paste it. All right, so now we have 2 of them. They're right on top of the other one. So I'm going to click on that first one, and I'm going, or the second one actually, and drag it over to the right. Now, I don't want it too far over. I want to point that out too, because we've got all of those parts. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. I'm just going to, for now, I'm just going to bring it over a little bit. Same thing with here. That one's over plenty. That's good. We don't want it too close to the edges. That's very important because the parts that we're going to lay down, you'll see that they're going to extend out further. Now, we don't want these 2 here. We want these later. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I think I will take them. Let's see. I think I'll just leave them for right now. Maybe. No, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to click on the first design. So this, the first part that has all 3 parts, I'm going to say, actually, I wonder if I can do it just this part. If I say, I'm going to try it, Control C, because I just want this quilting design, and then Control V like victory, and it did. It pasted it at the bottom. That's exactly what I want. So that's perfect. So I clicked on the 3rd part of the design, which is just the quilting, and then I did a Control C to copy it and a Control V like victory to paste it, and it brought it to the bottom. So that's exactly what I want. So now in 1 and 2, when I say 1 and 2, it's the first quilting design and the second quilting design. I'm going to click on the 3rd part, which is the quilting, because we have our placement and our tack down of our batting, and then we have our quilting. We don't want that quilting to happen right now. So I'm going to click delete, all right? And then same thing on the second design. I'm going to click on the 3rd part of the second design, which is the quilting, 2, 3, and I'm going to click delete. All right, so we have the placement and tack down of the batting for both of those, and then we have one of the quilting designs. We need two of them, so I'm going to say Control C to copy it and Control V like victory to paste it. It goes on top of that first one, so we do want to line this up here. So I'm just going to bring this over and line it up. You could do an align and distribute, which I think I will just to make sure it's just right. So to do that, I'm going to click on number 2 design. Remember, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 designs. I'm clicking on the second design, and then I'm going to hit the control button on my keyboard and hold it down while I also click on number 4. All right, we don't need to do that on number 3 because it already came that way, but number 4, we did move it. So I want to go ahead and align and distribute. So while I have number 2 and number 4 selected, I'm going to click on Utility, Align and Distribute. And then I'm going to say Center, Center. It will probably move both of them. Maybe, I'm not sure. Sorry. And I just spilled water. All right, and then click Apply. All right, and it moved up and to the right just a little bit. I'm going to hit Close. Now I know that those are lined up. All right, we could do that later. It doesn't matter at this point. So the key now, though, is going to be to get all of that flying geese part in between 2 and 3. So we want this number 3 and number 4, the quilting designs, to be the very last thing that we stitch. All right, so I'm going to bring in our flying geese design. So I'm going to go to Jingle All the Way and embroidery files. And I am going to move this out of the way here. I'm going to close this one. We're done with the quilting. All right, and we're looking for the small flying geese. So I'm just scrolling through the designs until I find that small flying geese. Did I already pass it? There's the large flying geese. There's the small flying geese. So it's about halfway down. You can see from here. It's after the peppermint. All right, so I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to just drag it over. So you just click and drag it when you do it this way. If you do it this way, then you would navigate to where the folder is and then double click on it and it will come to the center. So this way you just drag it over and it goes to the center. All right. So now that we have this, so the first thing I want to do, I definitely want to change the colors so that when we do a color sort later. But first, while I'm thinking of it, I want to make sure to bring this up to here above the quilting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it. If I do it on the picture, there we go. So click on it, then right click, and I'm going to say move earlier. And then I'm going to do that again, right click, move earlier. All right, so you can see we have 5 designs now. The first 2 are the placement and tack down of the batting. 3 is that quilting, or not quilting, the flying geese design. And then 4 and 5 is our quilting on the last steps. All right, but now here we want to move this into place, and then we also want to change all the colors. So I'm going to go ahead and move it into place for now. So here's the key. I'm going to bring it here just to show you. This inner box, this gray box, there's an outer box, which is the farthest point, and then this inner box. This inner box is our placement, and well, it's basically lines up with our batting. All right, so that's what we want to do. So this orange line here, I'll click outside so you can see it better. This orange line on the outside of our quilting design, it's our batting line. We want to line that up with this gray line. All right, so I'm going to click on this design, make sure you've got all the parts of number 3, and then just line it up within that orange square. You want the gray square to go over the orange square, so over here. All right, and you can see why I was saying that we want extra room. So you can see it's still actually a little close to have this right on the edge there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on number 1 and click on number 3 now that I have them lined up, and I'm just going to use my right arrow key just to move it out of the way a little bit. I don't want it hitting the edge of the hoop. All right, but I already have it lined up. So I need to do that again for this next one. So you'll get another chance to see that. But first I want to change all these colors before I copy and paste it for another one. So on number 3, I'm going to open this up. See all these cyans and oranges? If we did a color sort and we didn't change these colors, they're all going to lump together. And it's going to say, okay, put all of the fabrics down. and you won't be able to cut them. You won't be able to move them. So we need all of these to be separated. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just start with that. So the very first one, that's our piecing template. That's going to be our safe haven. It's going to show us how to do this and make it really easy for us. I don't think there were any other, let's see what colors we have. So in here we have blue and orange, and then in this we have turquoise. So we don't need to worry about that gray. We don't need to, let's see, we had orange. Wilcom, was it default 2 orange, and this was Wilcom 9 orange. So we don't need to worry about all of them. We could keep 2 of them, but let's just do all of them so we don't have to worry about it. All right, so we've got, let's see, there are 36 color steps for the small flying geese. And we're going to get it down to half that by joining them together, merging them together. So I'm going to go ahead and just run through these and change the colors. I'm not going to worry about that gray, but I think there was another gray. Yep. So we have to change one of them. So we'll change that last one and leave the first one. All right, so I'm on 3-2. So it's the third design, the second part of that third design. And like I said, I'm just going to run through and change the colors so that we don't need to worry about it later. So the color itself, like I've told you on every video, it doesn't matter what color you choose. I always just start with the first color that comes up. It makes it a lot easier than actually choosing colors, but you do you, whatever works for you. So on this cyan, I'm going to choose the first color that comes up for me, which is Fil-Tec Glide Marine. I have Fil-Tec Glide chosen as my preference, so it'll come up with all Fil-Tec colors. Again, it doesn't matter what color you choose. It's just to be able to stop. It'll make a stop so that you can put that fabric down. All right, so I'm going to choose Marine and say okay, and then 3-3. Click on the color down here in the properties window, and I'm going to choose the first color that comes up for me. That is Halloween, and say okay. And then 3-4, click on the color down here in the properties window. We already used Marine. You can see your colors right up here. So I'm going to use the second color down, which for me is Hawaiian Blue, and say okay. And then 3-5, click on the color, and I already used Halloween, so I'm going to use the next color, which is Butterscotch for me. 3-6, click on the color, and I already used Hawaiian Blue, so I'm going to use Mercury next. And then 3-7, click on the color, and the last one we used was Butterscotch, so I'm going to choose Bronze. And then 3-8, click on the color, and the last one we used was Mercury, so I'm going to use Tropical. Don't forget, you can always see your colors right here. Makes it easy. All right, and then 3-9, click on the color down in the properties window, and the last one we used was Bronze, so I'm going to use Biscotti. And then 3-10, click on the color, and last one we used was Tropical, so I'm going to use Robin Egg. And then 3-11, click on the color, and last one we used was Biscotti, so I'm going to use Wheat. 3-12, click on the color, and we used Robin Egg. I scrolled down just a bit. I'm going to use Fog next. 3-13, click on the color. Last one was Wheat, so I'm going to use Caramel. Caramel is one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. I love caramel. Say okay. And 3-14, click on the color, and we used Fog, so the next one down for me is Aqua. And 3-15, click on the color, and we used Caramel, so I'm going to use Shell. Look at how similar all of these colors are. That's funny. All right, 3-16, click on the color. The last one we used was Aqua, so I'm going to use Sky. 3-17, click on the color, and last one we used was Shell, so I'm going to use Sand Dune. All right, and then 3-18, click on the color, and last one we used was Sky, so I'm going to use Electric. And 3-19, click on the color, and let's see, we used Shell. Did we use Sand Dune? We used Sand Dune, so I'm going to use Sand. All right, 3-20, then click on the color, and last one was Electric. There's Electric, so the next one down for me is Steel Blue. 3-21, click on the color, and let's see, we used Sand, so we got to go down to Military Gold. 3-22, click on the color, And let's see, we use steel blue, so the next one is ocean. And 323, click on the color, and let's see, last one was military gold. So I want desert sunset. Desert sunset. All right, and then 324, click on the color, and let's see, we used steel blue and ocean, so next one is battleship. Battleship spelled with one T. Whoops. All right, 325, click on the color, and the last one was desert sunset. Where are we? Right there, so the next one is khaki. 326, click on the color. There's a lot of parts to this small flying geese. Let's see, last one was battleship with one T. And so I'm going to choose lagoon. And 327, click on the color. And the last one was khaki. I think I went too far. There we go. Dijon is the next color. And two more. Oh, wait. More than that. Sorry, I was wrong. All right, 328. Click on 328, then click on the color. And let's see, our last one was lagoon. Steel blue. Where's battleship lagoon? There we go. Sterling is the next one. All right, then 329. Click on the color, and last one was Dijon. So next one for me is German granite. All right, and then 330, click on the color. Last one was sterling. So next one is aquamarine. And then 331, click on the color, and last one was German granite. So next one is Cleopatra. All right, then 332, click on the color, and last one was aquamarine. So next one is cobalt. All right, and then 333, click on the color, and last one was Cleopatra, right there. So next one is honey gold. All right, last two. 334, click on 334, then click on the color. Last one we used was cobalt. And let's see. Next one is cerulean. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but all right. And then 335, click on the color, and last one was honey gold. Let's see, almost there. And next one is Vegas gold. Honey gold to Vegas gold. All right, now this gray we do need to change because there's already a gray up at the top. So I'm going to click on that, click on the color, and I'm going to choose medium gray, the first color that comes up for me. All right, now that is all done. Now, keep in mind, if you will find it stressful to put two fabrics down and flip two fabrics, you can do all of this separately. All right, you can do it in each hooping, or you could do them all together but not merged together. You could not do a color sort. It's up to you. I like to do them all together. I don't find that too stressful. I think it'll be fun and challenging. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all of this. I'm going to close number 3 so I can see all of the parts. I'm closing all of them. All right, and that one is ready to be copied and pasted. So I'm going to click number 3, and I'm going to just number 3. Make sure you've got all the parts to number 3 and say Control C to copy, and then Control V like victory to paste. And it goes down to the bottom, all right, underneath our quilting. And we don't want it underneath our quilting. We want the quilting to be the last thing that we do. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to right click on it and say move earlier, and then one more time, move earlier. All right, so you can see we have the placement and tack down of the batting for both of the flying geese. Then we have flying geese number 1, flying geese number 2. It's on top of the first one, so we need to move that. And then we have the quilting design and the quilting design. So I'm going to click on number 4, which right now is over on top of the other design, which is not where we want it. And I am going to take it and I'm going to line it up. So this is what I was saying. This gray line here, we want to line up with this orange line here. All right. That is the easiest way to figure out how to make it just right, is to just line it up with that batting line. All right, great. Those are done. All right, now let me think. So we have they're all separated. We should be good. So if we did these separately, right now we have 78 color steps. Like we'll be doing this all day long, but we're going to make it quicker and faster. So make sure that you've got your quilting designs on top of everything else. So everything gets all done, all the piecing, all of that, and then we do our quilting. So make sure that you have that. If you're doing them in two different colors, then you would want to change one of the colors, because right now, I don't think it will. Well, it will. It will join them because we're going to do our color sort. So if you don't, they're both with the same color, so you wouldn't need to. But if you decide that you want one of my flying geese to have blue thread color and one of the other flying geese to have gray color, whatever it is, then you would need to make sure to change this color. I'm going to do them the same, so I'm not going to worry about it. But if you change this color, you would just click on this, click on here, and click there, and then click on the color to change it, and that will separate it so that it doesn't join them together, but I want mine together. All right, so we have everything ready, and like I said, we've got 78 color steps. You can see it right down here at the bottom. All right, so make sure everything's lined up how you want it. Make sure nothing is over the line. This outside yellow, on mine it's yellow. I think it's yellow on all of them. This is showing your hoop. All right, and so you want to make sure not to have anything over the hoop. Like if some of these little lines went over your hoop, then you could get it to your project, to your machine, and go, oh, it doesn't work and I have to start all over. So make sure and check that now. All right, so the other thing we want to do is our color sort. So I'm going to go to utility color sort, and it thinks, and it's reduced it by 38 color changes. Always click new view, always super important to click new view. It opens another tab, and then we can check it to make sure it did everything that we think it should do. So there's our placement for our batting, our tack down for our batting, and then there's our piecing template. All right, remember I said this is really important. And then we're just going to run through all the pieces, and you can see that they're together on both of them. That's all we're looking for, is to make sure that they're in the right order, they're all together. So easy to just check these very quickly to look through them all. All right, even though there's lots of parts, my goodness. This is going to be a busy one. And that's why I was saying we don't want a quilting design that's super busy going over all of these layers of fabric. So I think that bell will be just fine. All right, we have a few more. So far, they're all working exactly how we planned it, because we are just amazing. We did a good job putting all of this together. All right, and then that's when everything is done and all of the pieces are there, and it's going to run one final tack down to hold it all in place, and then we will run that quilting design. And that's what I was saying, that they're together, that I wanted mine together because I'm going to use the same color thread, but you can separate them if you choose. All right, this is done and ready. So I'm going to go ahead and do a file, save stitch file as. There's all this empty space on this hoop. I feel like we should add something in, but this is plenty of work. We're going to just keep it simple. All right, so I'm going to do a file, save stitch file as. Make sure to do an as. All right, if you don't, then it's going to save over the first thing that you brought in, and that is not what you want to happen. So right now it's just asking you, well, where do you want to save this? So I'm telling it I want it in my Jingle All the Way folder that is here on my desktop. And I'm going to save it in my embroidery files, Pez, and right now I'm on EXP because I made something for someone else. So I'm going to go back to Pez, then it'll show all of my designs. And I'm going to name this Small Flying Geese ×2. Save. All right, and then I need to send it to my machine, but I forgot to turn my machine on. So just hold on one sec. All right, I think it'll have to do a little bit. So if you don't know how to save it to a USB stick, I have a tutorial just on that, like a super quick, super easy tutorial. Hold on, I'm going to push the button on my machine. Okay, sorry about that. So right now, if you have a machine that is Wi-Fi ready, you can send it to your machine. There's only a select few machines that have that ability. So if not, you would just save it to a USB stick, bring your USB stick over to your machine and get stitching. You're all ready. All right, and like I said, I have a tutorial on how to do that if you haven't done that before. So now I'm going to go to Utility, Send to Solaris XP1 and say OK. And then it sends it right to my machine. All right, and we're ready to get stitching. always get questions about my shirt. Today I am wearing just a plain thermal shirt, but I've got this vest, a puffer vest, because it's cold here in Idaho, let me tell you. So last night I purchased this really cute Highland cow from Etsy, and I stitched him, and let me tell you, this little design was, I think it came out to 5.5 by 5.5. I shrunk it down a little bit, and it was like 66,000 stitches. I think that's right. 66,000 stitches. Maybe it was 46. I don't remember, but oh, that's what it was. It was 66 minutes of stitching and 46,000 stitches for this little Highland cow. It was a lot of stitching, but with my method that I do on all of my shirts, and I've got lots of shirt videos on there, it worked out perfectly. So one thing I did different is I did not put fusible stabilizer, which I highly recommend on the inside of all of your shirts and sweaters, but I didn't do it on this one. I used regular tearaway because I don't want to iron on this. So nylon, I thought, no, I'm not going to iron it. So I just used tearaway stabilizer, and all of that information is in all of my videos of how to embroider on a shirt. So the only part I left out was the fusible stabilizer. I did not do fusible stabilizer, but I did do tearaway, and it came out perfectly. No puckering, no problems, and oh my gosh, isn't that so cute? Like I said, I found it on Etsy. I will add a link underneath this video. The puffer vest I got from Amazon, and it was just a good deal. It was really cute, and how fun to personalize it. So look on my Amazon storefront. I will add a link here. I will put my puffer vest in there. I actually have bought like 3 puffer vests recently that I'm going to show you over the next few days. So look in that Amazon storefront, check it out, because they're pretty fun to personalize, let me tell you. And how are you doing with your goal? I like to wrap up every video asking how you're doing with your goal. Do you even remember your goal? Because really, we were on Christmas time and the New Year time, and you just kind of have cookies all around and forget about your goals, right? So I want to hear, how are you doing with your goal? So I have 2 goals for this entire project. I'm exercising a lot. I'm eating really healthy. I am doing really good at that. I did really bad during Christmas. When I was in California, I was in vacation mode and ate everything, all kinds of junk. But I'm back on track and detoxing from sugar and just doing really good. And even though I was really sick, I got really sick. And it's funny, my husband and I got a different kind of sick. We both got it from the same place, got it at the same time, pretty close. He got it a couple days after me. But mine was like this monster headache. Like all of the head congestion just stayed in my head, and I could barely move my head. And oh my gosh, I was so sick. Whereas my husband has all of the chest congestion and coughing a lot, very, very loud coughing, and just really sickly. So mine, I got it 2 days before him, and it just was extremely painful for me, whereas his seems to be lagging on because of the cough. So very different with how our illnesses went. But the good thing is that I was able to, since it didn't settle in my chest, I was still able to exercise. So January 1st, I got back on my treadmill, and I worked out several times on my treadmill. I think I've already done like 9 workouts this year. I didn't do anything yesterday because yesterday was the worst of it for me. I was really sick. Like I couldn't even hold my head upright. I was really sick yesterday, but today I'm doing better, so I'm very thankful. So definitely working that goal as far as exercise, getting exercise, detoxing from the sugar over the Christmas season, and eating really healthy. My other goal is to make projects in between our projects so that I can work on things that I've been sitting here staring at me waiting to get done. I know we all have those. So I did a bunch of those during Christmas because I wanted to make Christmas gifts for my grandkids. So I'll share photos of the things that I made. I had fun. I had a lot of fun making really cool projects for my grandkids. So I made Kris Kringle from Planet Applique stuffy. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. He's for my oldest grandson, Aiden. That was really fun to make. Another one was a penguin Oh my, I have a penguin and polar bear obsession, like seriously obsession. I send my daughter penguin videos all the time. I love penguins. So I made my granddaughter a penguin and I put Grandma Loves You on him, and he's just really cute. Really, really, really cute stuffy. And that also is from Planet Applique. I will share photos. And then I made a polar bear, and it's funny. I thought Kris Kringle was going to be my favorite. I put him to last because I thought he'd be the hardest one to do, and he was a little bit difficult, but this was before the designer came out with instructions, so there should be instructions soon. But anyway, the polar bear, I need one for me. He is so darn cute. He's for my grandson, and he loves them. And I put those beads at the bottom of him to, like, he's a weighted polar bear. He is really cute. Oh my gosh, I love him. And it was funny seeing him come together. Like, I had this head, just a head sitting there waiting to finish the body. It was really fun. But that was super, super cute. Again, Planet Applique. And then I made a elf doll, a girl elf doll for Santa's helper, like elf doll girl for my oldest granddaughter, and she got to choose. So I didn't tell her what she was choosing it for, but she got to choose the colors that I used for the elf. So that was fun. So she chose pink and lavender, and so I made a pink and lavender elf doll, and she's huge. My granddaughter's like 12, so my oldest granddaughter is 12. So I made the biggest version of this elf, and she's huge. It was really fun to make her. What else did I make there? Oh, and a gingerbread girl for my youngest granddaughter. I made her, it's Gingy, she's called Gingy, and she's with the latest update from Planet Applique, and that came out super, super cute. Fun. Did I get everybody? I feel like I'm missing. Oh, Zachary. I almost forgot Zachary. Oh my gosh. Zachary gives the best hugs. I love this kid. He is such a sweetheart. I made him a reindeer in pajamas. It's called a snuggle reindeer. It's from Planet Applique. And he was the first stuffy I made this season. And oh my gosh, he was really, really cute. He came out a little smaller than I expected, but it worked out totally fine. He's really cute. How fun to have a reindeer in pajamas. And it looks like they're actual pajamas, but you make them as part of the design. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed making all of those stuffies. So what things did you make for your grandkids? Did you get your craft room back together? That's the hard part. I got it pretty organized before I left for my trip for California, but I was pretty under the gun trying to get all these gifts done. And I came back and there were just bags of extra Minky. I bought so much Minky for these gifts, and I had stuff just everywhere. So it feels so good to have my craft room back together, to be getting back to our Jingle All the Way quilt. I'm just loving it. I'm absolutely having so much fun with this project. So let's go ahead and get going with it.